Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here in a sub-freezing Foley Square. Today, November 29th, Wednesday, 2023. We're covering 4 trials, count them, 4, between the 2 buildings of the Southern District of New York. I'll get to that in a moment, but we're also going to be covering a big OpenAI. It's sort of an opening hearing in the case of various authors against OpenAI for stealing their material, according to the large language model. Should be interesting. Hopefully we'll be live tweeting that. We'll see how that goes. In crypto news, we're going to do this before the trials because I think it's a wider. CZ remains. There's still no ruling in the Western District of Washington on whether he can return to the UAE before his sentencing scheduled for February. And Karony of SafeMoon, slightly lower profile, he remains in detention in Utah, and his lawyers have been told to take their new bail package to a magistrate judge. But let's do it. In a minute, 4 trials, 1 minute. Jatik Smith, he's a man, it's Bloods actually related, a fire restoration company. Yesterday there was testimony about how these guys were, it's almost like old school mafia. They're like fighting at fire scenes to sign up the homeowner, and there's some gunplay. So there's that. Behind me now, and it may already be over, a man named Jeremy Joseph, charged with interstate threats. He's representing himself, although he has a standby counsel, and his victims were testifying yesterday, and he became so upset that he went into the holding cell, and it said that he's going to be pleading guilty this morning. So we'll know that one soon. There's also Anthony Ellison of Tekashi 6ix9ine fame and Starlin Nunez, 2 prisoners who, while in the MCC, are charged with bribing guards to bring in phones and drugs. The guards mostly pled guilty. It's an interesting case. And finally, Carlos Orense. He's the Venezuelan big guy. He knew Maduro, he knew El Pollo, and he's on trial, and we're covering it. His daughter's in the courtroom, and so are we. Now, at the United Nations yesterday, Antonio Guterres did a sit-down press conference with the head of the African Union with his hand-picked media, and do you know what? There was not a single question about, for example, the slaughter of the Anglophones in Cameroon, or about Nigeria, or anything else. It was mostly things that were not even about Africa. The UN makes money on Africa, does nothing for it, and Antonio Guterres bans the press that asks. But we won't cease. To be continued.